How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Terry's Travels. I'm Terry, and today we've traveled to Virginia City and Gold Hill, Nevada, a place where the Old West lives on today just like it did back in the 1800s. But before we start exploring, we got to be dressed properly. First of all, we need a hat. Okay, maybe a different hat will work. Yeah, this is a little better. So, put on your Stetson, dust off your boots, and get ready to have a two-stepping good time today. Yeehaw!
That cigarette. Smoke that cigarette. Love, if you love yourself to death, I'll sing you away. Maybe you just have to quit, you gotta have another cigarette.
We're the Nevada Gunfighters. We're a non-profit group here. We do reenactments of Old West living history from the period from about 1860 to the 1890s. All our costuming is all authentic type of period clothing that we do. We do live stage shows and portray the events that may have taken place back in the Old West.
It's an old dance from the 1870s to 1890s. It was performed up here in Virginia City. So we try to recreate some of the old, keep the legacy alive of the dancing.
Virginia City is one of our last authentic old living history type towns here. Of all the types of areas that you could possibly visit, Virginia City still has a lot to offer in both the architecture and just the persona of the people who live here and work up here in Virginia City.
What I love about Virginia City is I'm one of those people that was born into a military family, traveled all my life, but 5 generations of my family have come through here going into the Northern California valleys. And after traveling my whole life and wanting to settle down someplace, I came up here to Virginia City and went into a couple of the old clubs to find out about the history of things. In fact, the Washoe Club across the street used to cater to about 3 generations back in my family. My great uncle used to run a mule team from Modesto to Virginia City back in the old days. And it's modern, but it has its quaint and its historical sense that goes back, over 200 years. And for me, it's a relaxed feeling. I mean, you can be amidst all the beautiful tourists who come here to shop and check the history of the town out, but it just has a comfortable feeling about it. The people are beautiful.
This is a great spot. Welcome to Virginia City. The main drag consists of about a quarter of a mile stretch, shops and buildings on each side of the street, wooden planked walkways, and at every turn of the head, there's a piece of history to be experienced. So what do you say we start experiencing some of that history right now? Okay, shall we see where Lady Luck is going to take us this spin? Okay. Hey, I won a nickel. I'm on a roll. The Bucket of Blood, win, lose, or draw, is a great place to visit, despite its rather gruesome name. In fact, it's a very family-oriented bar and casino. But back in the 1800s, the Bucket of Blood was a pretty rowdy hangout. In fact, that's how it got its name.
Guys, after a big brawl one night, the miners with a bunch of miners in there. The guy who cleans up is called a swamper. And he cleaned up and said he cleaned up a bucket of blood the next morning. It's kind of stuck. Yeah. Been here 125 years. Same family's owned this saloon for 70 years. It's full of antique lamps and everything all through here. They've all been collected by the McBride family, and they're all original lamps.
And who's that lady hanging over the center of the bar?
That would be Julia Billette.
What's her story?
She was a prostitute up here from 1862 to 1867. No, she was called an angel of mercy. She'd go around and help people that were sick, bring them food, medicine, water.
How is it that she merits the place of honor over the bucket of blood bar?
We got to have our heroes.
A piano was considered a great form of entertainment in the old days of Virginia City. Another popular form of entertainment was gambling. The lure of making a fast buck drew many a card shark to the Comstock. Proving that the hand is quicker than the eye, these sleight of hand experts could make cards appear from thin air or disappear with a twist of the wrist. To stack in a deck, these barroom hustlers were masters of deception. At will, a good card shark could bottom deal a winning hand to himself or an accomplice as easily as he would order a beer from the bar. It's all part of the legacy that made Virginia City an icon of the Old West. Pardon me, miss, may I pull your handle? I know, I shouldn't have done that. Bad joke. We are in the Gambling Museum, and this is a phenomenal place. We're going to take a look at decades worth of gambling devices, and these all came from a private collection, and there's only one place you can see them, and that's right here in Virginia City at the Gambling Museum. By the way, leave your quarters in the pocket. Okay, this one's just for fun.
The Gambling Museum is probably one of the best that has ever been put together, and there's over 100 machines back there. They date back to the 1890s, the machines, and particularly we have a Liberty Bell back there, which is the machine that Charles Fay invented, which was the first machine that had fruits on it, and he patented the fruits on the slot machines. There's cheating devices back there that the men used to use in Virginia City when they played Faro, and that they would put up their sleeve. And all the old games that they used to play are in the museum, which is very interesting. They have table covers for Hazard, which was a dice and card game that was played in England and then was brought to this country. And they played Faro, which was the main game in Virginia City. And this was a game where the house could cheat very easily. So there were a lot of killings, actually, and a lot of big money passed hands with the silver barons that were here over the Faro games.
Yes, I got stories that jingle, jingle, jingle as I go riding merrily along. And they sing, oh, ain't you glad you're single? And that's all.
get its start, you might say, Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, right? Well, you'd be wrong. It got its start right here at the Red Dog Saloon in Virginia City.
How's everybody doing out there in TV land? Hey, come on down. This is the Red Dog Saloon. How's everybody doing tonight? And, we were just down here rock and rolling since the 60s because this is where it all started as manufactured. Right here is the 19th page of the Rolling Stone 20-year anniversary book. And one of the first things it states is the San Francisco scene started at the Red Dog Saloon. You can say it started here as well as any one place. Most of the elements were there. Rock and roll, a sort of light show, the first psychedelic dance poster, the theatrical lifestyle, and acid. Apparently there was plenty of LSD up here, the genuine Osley. But that was then, and this is now, because everybody's been through here. Whoops. Everybody's been through this place. We've had 10 years after record here. The Warlocks, before they became known as the Grateful Dead, used to hang out up here. As a matter of fact, this is where Janis Joplin met up with Big Brother and the Holding Company right here in the building. Story goes, the guys were up here and built this place in the 1965. They wanted to have a place to put on their music. So they went down to San Francisco looking for the Byrds, but they couldn't find them. And some guy came up and says, I got a band, and it ended up his band with the Charlatans. And they came up here and played. There was a young lady named Lynn Rose who was the house singer, and she had the privilege of telling Janis Joplin, somewhere else, you're nobody now, I'm big time, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and this is my stage. So that's one of the little stories that goes to the Red Dog Saloon. We've had everybody who's playing music probably came through here and put it on their resume at one time, and the music's still alive. So come on up and be a part of it, all right? All right, we're watching her bag right now. I don't usually like to watch old bags, but in this case, I guess I have to. I got her drunk.
Get your kick on 60 cents.
Jefferson Airplane, James Cotton, that was a blues band, Chicago blues band with Moby Grape. That's them up there. Like the one up here with Big Brother and Charles Lloyd and the Sir Douglas Quintet. That poster up there was ripped down because it showed a penis. And they had they used to put big ones on the sides of buses. I mean, even though it's Michelangelo Buonarroti, you know, they were ripping those down, and they were confiscating, the San Francisco police were confiscating that one. This band, the Daily Flash from the Avalon Ballroom, they were the first San Francisco band to ever go on TV. They were on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it was a big deal.
Chicago to LA, more than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kick on 60 cents. Get your kicks, but we on 60 cents.
See that building over there? It's called the Old Washoe Club. In 1862, it was also known as the Millionaires Club because that's where the wealthy set went to party. They would come from Virginia City, they would come from San Francisco, in fact, they'd come from all around the world. That is the place where the high rollers went to spend their money. And I hear they had a real good time there too. It's also supposed to be one of the most haunted buildings in all of Virginia City. If there are any ghosts hanging around the Washoe today, they're having a pretty good time, as this is one of the hottest spots in town for locals and tourists alike.
Go, 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 go.
The Old Washoe Club is filled with character and characters. It's as close as you're going to get to the Old West without getting into a gunfight. Although the folks here are real friendly, you might want to ask their permission before you point a camera at them. I mean, it's just polite. Plus, those guns are real. After you've dosed your dough with the Washoe, you might want to mosey on over to the Delta Saloon. They first opened their doors in 1875 and shortly thereafter was known as the home of the suicide table. Is the table cursed? Well, find out for yourself as you read about the fate of those who dared to play cards at this infamous table. On the other side of the street is a museum dedicated to one of Virginia City's most famous residents. He was known to the town folk as Samuel Clemens, but millions of readers around the world knew him as Mark Twain.
In this museum we have approximately 18 tableaus that tell you all about the history of Virginia City, including the horrible fire of 1875 that almost destroyed our town, the bloodless death of Julia Bullitt, the hanging, and of course all about our mining, a lot of our railroad antiques, as well as the Chronicles of the Donner Party, and much, much more. Mark Twain is here in spirit. Many, many, many times when walking up and down this stairwell, you can feel him, just as I can now. I just have goosebumps all over. I have. And it's okay, Mark. It's okay. I'm coming up. I've dusted your desk. Everything is fine.
This is one amazing building, the Piper Opera House. In its day, it was considered the finest theater in the world, and it attracted the very best talent. In fact, Lily Langtry performed here frequently. Lily was like the Barbra Streisand of her time, and she was staying across the street at one of the finer hotels, but she had a pair of very fine, very delicate slippers, and she didn't want to get them dirty. So to make sure that didn't happen, they rolled out a red carpet from one building to the other so she could walk across without getting her slippers dusty or dirty. And that's where the term "giving you the red carpet treatment" comes from. Over at the Ponderosa, visitors can tour what was once one of the richest mines in the history of the Comstock. In the process of learning about what it was like to work in the mine, you might get a ghost story or two in the bargain.
Is the most haunted state in the Union, and Virginia City, the most active for ghosts.
Ever seen any down here in the mine?
Once in a while, as you've noticed, between here there's shadows. Occasionally I'll see some kind of movement. You can't distinguish any form, just a little flickering in the shadows. I'll hear footsteps, and I hear voices sometimes. And I know there's no one else in here except for the group I'm with. Now, there are some good stories in Gold Hill. You even talked to the Fame family who owned that rest of the hotel over there.
Oh yeah, I don't know
They have
about
some
them.
good stories over there.
We have two of the nicest ghosts on the Comstock. Rosie, who occupies room 4, and William, who occupies room 5. And as the proprietor, I'm very happy to have the friendly ghosts that we have, because the oldest hotel in Nevada is deserving of ghosts. And if they're not friendly, I will fire them.
Visit me at the Gold Hill Hotel, and I'll have a rose just for you.
Back in the days when prospectors panned their way to fame and fortune, the Gold Hill Hotel was known as Vesley's Hotel. It was a popular inn that played host to presidents, poets, and gunfighters alike. 200 years later, Nevada's oldest hotel still retains its turn-of-the-century charm. And for those chilly evenings, a brick and stone fireplace will warm up the night. From the balcony, enjoy the magnificent vistas that can only be found in the Comstock. And when it's time to say I do, the Gold Hill Hotel offers a unique setting for that very special occasion. After dinner, be sure to check out the unique wallpaper in the Gold Hill Saloon. The signing of a buck and sticking it on the wall is an old tradition for first-time customers.
Account.
And owner Bill Fain thinks it's a great idea.
People come in and they want to come back another time and have a memory of where they were, and so they stick it up and they come looking for their dollar bill. Actually, the space is getting full, so we're thinking about putting a $100 minimum on it. I haven't had any takers yet, but I promise them that I'll put it up later that night. So.
Located just a few feet behind the Gold Hill Hotel is the Yellow Jacket Mine, the site of the worst mining disaster in the history of Nevada.
We're standing on the grounds of the Yellow Jacket Mine, and right here was the shaft, the original shaft of the Yellow Jacket, and it went down nearly 3,000 feet. And the fire broke out at the 800-foot level of the Yellow Jacket, and it spread through into the Kentuck and the Crown Point mine, which are right over this way. The day shift was just replacing the night shift when it broke out at 7 a.m. And the miners were trapped going both ways, and it was hellish.
Black smoke and heat.
This play depicts how the mining disaster affected the lives of several families. One husband was lost, the other saved. Every Wednesday and Thursday, the Gold Hill Theater Troupe presents 1- and 2-act plays based on the events that shaped the history of the Comstock.
I may never know.
And some of the people who were lost were actually people who went down to help save. There was a great parallel here with what happened on September 11th, because this fire was a disaster of the nation at the time. It affected the stock shares of mines everywhere.
The plays at the Gold Hill help to keep the history of an era alive, while offering their guests some 5-star entertainment in the process. Another popular venue is cowboy poetry and Western music night.
Right along, the stars around me, Santa Claus are flying, Mariah makes the modern sound. My folks were up there dying. Mariah, Mariah, they call the wind Mariah, Mariah, Mariah.
In the old days, Virginia City was renowned for its painted or tainted ladies of the evening. The brothels offered work to women who were left without husbands after the mining disaster, and provided entertainment for the miners who were eager to trade some of their gold dust for a good time. Of all the fallen angels to ply their trade in Virginia City, none was more famous nor more revered than Julia Boulette. Known as the Angel of Mercy, she was a hooker with a heart of gold. You were talking about the lady that served the firemen in more ways than one?
Yes,
Tell me a little bit about her.
Well, Julia Boulette was the epitome of the kind-hearted, big-hearted prostitute. She had business down. Well, better than that, she rumor has it that she was generous with the poor guys and the miners, but the miners always had pockets full of gold dust and things like that, and they would buy her presents, jewelry and nice things. And when she was murdered, her jewelry was all missing.
John, what are you doing? That's my jewelry!
Julia, tesore.
And they found the jewelry on the guy who killed her. That's how they nailed him.
Oh.
And when they hung him, all the ladies in the town came to the hanging and cheered.
I understand that the women of the town actually didn't want her buried in the cemetery, did they?
No, her cribs were right down on C Street, which is a street below Main Street. I don't believe they're there anymore, but that was where the prostitutes were, and they did a bang-up business.
What era was that?
That was around the 1800s, middle 1800s.
Okay, so in the 1800s, if you were a prostitute in Virginia City, you got buried in no man's land. Today, if you do it, you get a television contract, you get network coverage, and you get book deals.
Exactly.
especially if Charlie Sheen is one of your clients. If you would like to find out more about Virginia City's most celebrated prostitute, visit the Red Light Museum in the Julia Boulette Saloon and Cafe.
Train's coming.
All aboard!
Just down the hill from Julia's place is the V&T Railroad. This old-time train once hauled the wealth of the Comstock. Today, it carries visitors to and from the Gold Hill Hotel and Virginia City. The route takes you through one of the actual mines of the Comstock and alongside some of the most breathtaking countryside Nevada has to offer. The round-trip excursion takes about 20 minutes and it's only available in the summer and early fall. Hey everybody, look who I found. Remember Laura Bell? I was out here last summer and she's with the Nevada Gunfighters, and Laura Bell was teaching me how to do some 10-stepping over at the Washoe Club, right?
Yes, you did a great job.
She lies with a straight face, but, and I know I didn't quite look the part with my Bermuda shorts, my little vest, but now that I'm back to do some more shooting, I got all duded up. How do you like the outfit?
Duded would probably be a good term for that.
Uh-huh. Is that a good thing?
No, not here in Nevada, it isn't.
Well, what's wrong?
For starters, the hat.
What's wrong with the hat? I got it in Texas.
That's probably the problem.
Oh, well, what do we do?
We get rid of it.
Okay.
And we go down to the Red Garter and gussy you up Nevada style.
Oh, you got a place to go?
I have a great place to go.
Let's go get gussied.
All right.
The Red Garter has a hat for every head. Purses for the most fashionable cowgirl. And jackets for all occasions. And of course, lots and lots of boots. If you want to dress the part during your stay in Virginia City, the Red Garter has a get-up that's guaranteed to put you in the Old West and the Old West into you. Now, deciding on which outfit to buy, well, that's a horse of a different color. With a little help from Laura, I found a picture-perfect look for me. However, just be careful where they put that picture. One of Virginia City's most famous celebrities is simply known as Squeak. This talented lady holds the Guinness World Record for most songs performed by memory on a piano.
1988, 88 being the operative number because there's 88 keys on a piano, I proceeded to play. I had listed 2,000 plus songs, and in the course of 3 weeks of playing daily, except for one day a week, in a historic building in the center of Philadelphia, I played 1,852 pieces of music, ranging from things as simple as Happy Birthday to full-fledged Beethoven sonatas, and including, of course, 100 Beatles songs, 500 hymns, and numerous amounts of children's songs from the books, folk songs, ethnic songs, classical music, all forms of popular music, Broadway music. Actually in the fall of 1988, but it's in the 1990 book hardcover, page 18, and interestingly enough, it's not in music, it's in physiology under memory. So it's between or close to the guy that memorized pi to 30,000 places, and somebody who memorized, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 phone numbers from the Beijing phone book. So. And it's right there between the largest liver and the smallest waist. So it's got, yeah, it's a hoot.
Hi, welcome to Gross Brothers Goods. It's a privilege to have you in here and a privilege for me to be here. This is one of the older buildings in Virginia City. This was built in 1868 and has been continually occupied since then. No ghost town here.
This is one of the wonderful things about touring Virginia City. As you walk down the main street, you can turn into any shop and instantly be transported through a portal of time. And that's exactly what has happened here.
When people come in, I want them to feel transported back in time. The Victorian period, maybe Art Deco to a degree. I try to get a little something for everyone. Now, these were lorgnettes. They're a magnifying glass, but again, they wore them as jewelry. Then they could sneak a peek when they needed to, and people wouldn't even know they needed eyeglasses. Now, this is another interesting piece. This was a perfume vial, but also in those days they had laudanum, and they would put laudanum in there at times. Now the calliope, one of my favorite things in here, especially in the summer when you have a lot of families come in. The kids love to hear this thing. And if they wanted to, I could pop popcorn into it. And if you want to hear it, I'll play it for you.
back memory, Shell?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
This is an excerpt from the Marathon Man radio show.
Of course, we got really, really crazy thanks to the Marathon Man.
What you see is what you get, and what you get is the old Marathon Man until 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to laugh and scratch, you get that all night long. If you want to be an old humbug,
At the cemetery.
Okay, now this must be the place, huh?
This is Boot Hill.
Okay, Boot Hill.
We're on our way down the hill.
Sure you want to do this?
I've never done this before.
Never done this before?
No.
Jerry, you ready for this?
You ready, Jer?
Absolutely. Yeah, we had to drag him screaming here. Okay, here we go, cemetery. Get ready, the Marathon Man and the Shellster is going to visit the spooks. Woo! Yeah, it's a weekend. Everybody in the tub. Oh, excuse me, miss. Can I grab the sofa?
Let's see.
Oh, we can walk through there.
We can walk through there.
No admittance after dark. We're going to get in trouble for this, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. Has that ever stopped us before? I guess I really shouldn't park in front of the no admittance after dark sign because I have absolutely no credibility if a cop shows up and I say I didn't see it. Okay.
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 This looks like it may be a path down. We've got to get the flashlights out.
Flashlights?
And try it.
Okay, here we go. I don't believe some of the things we do.
I don't either.
Okay, we are standing in front of one of the most famous graveyards at midnight in the world.
Yes, indeed. Virginia City's Boot Hill.
And Boot Hill, and nobody's supposed to be here after dark, so we are really taking our lives in our hands just for you guys. Okay, well, what do we do now? I guess sneaking in is about what we're going to do,
That's what
huh?
we have to do.
Oh,
we got to do this.
gosh.
We came all this way.
I know.
We can't not do it.
Does Jerry have bail money?
I hope so.
Oh, man, let's see what
Do you
happens.
have your...
Okay, Shelley. Here it is. I found a way in. Oh, man. Oh, 2 more cheeseburgers, and I never would have made this. Oh, actually, this feels kind of good. Oh, no, I shouldn't be laughing here. Okay. Shelley. Come on around. Shelley.
Hi, Dare. What'd you do? Crawl through the fence? Oh, you silly boy. Ooh, we really should be much more,
Okay, we've got to be more
somber.
reverent about this.
Reverent and somber.
Actually, what we've got to be is quiet. A, we don't want to disturb the ghost. B, we don't want to alert the sheriff we're down here. Okay, here. Shh. Now let's tell me a little bit about the ghost we've got down here. Now you were talking about one of the gals today, the famous prostitute.
Oh, she's not here. This is hallowed ground.
Really?
She's way out there in the middle of the valley.
Well, who are we going to find in here?
Well, mostly upright, honest citizens and a few gunfighters that didn't make it.
Well, what the hell are we doing with these people? I want the hooker. Oh, well, we're here. We'll make the best of it. Come
No
on.
luck up here.
One of the interesting things about old graveyards are the personalities that lie beneath the markers. For example, this guy died, in 1826?
More than likely, he was a miner. So amazing.
No, it says here he was 23.
Yes.
Yeah. Got to be fast. Even in the graveyard, the Marathon Man's got 1 million of them.
He was a man who worked in the mines. There still is a lot.
You might say this was his final payoff. This is the last bride this guy's going to get.
Well, look at the monument. I mean, it's one of the tallest in the graveyard.
I don't know. I really think he's trying to compensate for something. This is very Freudian. Okay, with that remark, I think it's time to get the heck out of Dodge, so to speak. Watch your step.
Ooh.
Yeah, first one's a killer. Okay, let's go back to the hotel and see if we can't find Rosie and William, okay?
That's because they have no sense of humor.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Here. Come here. I just didn't want to disturb anybody. Come here, Shell. We got lots of stuff to do, so get some rest. Sleep tight. I'll keep an eye open for things that go bump in the night. This has been fun. Have you had a good time? We really have met some characters on this trip, haven't we? We've gone to the haunted places of Virginia City. We've met people that know how to play pianis and ricky-tick and cowboys and gunslingers, and it has just been a ball. So when you have a chance, hop in your wagon and come on up to Gold Hill in Virginia City. It's a trip that you will remember for a long, long time. As for me, it's time to pack up the saddlebags and get ready for our next adventures as Terry Travels heads off to, I really don't know where we're going, but I will see you when we get there.